What's up, my peeps? It is now time for a Dragon Ball Super episode review, and this is for episode 102, titled, let me check here, The Power of Love Explodes, Universe 2's Little Witch Warriors. So for those of you who saw the preview on the 101 episode, we knew that this was going to be the Warriors of Love taking on the Universe 7 Warriors. And in this case, it was mainly them versus Android 17. So this review is going to be done the same style that I used to do my WWE reviews. I'll go over everything that happened and then give you guys my thoughts on it. So, it started off with the main three warriors of Universe 2, demanding attention, going high up top so that every other universe's warriors can look at them while they transform from their model form into their, Teletubby form. At least that's what it looked like for the main chick, the blonde one. So, the blonde one, by the way, is called Ribrianne the Chateau, the brunette is called Sankaku, and the purple-haired one is called Sue Rose. And so they start their transformation ritual, but before they actually finish it, they get a ki blast, blasting them right in the middle of it, and everybody's shocked, and it turns out to be Android 17. So then Goku looks at him, and the God of Destruction of Universe 2 and the Kai and all that, they're shocked, they feel disrespected, and Goku goes up to Android 17 and he's like, yo, did you do that? And he's like, yeah, they were wide open for it, which makes sense, right? And of course, Goku's like, yo, but they were in the middle of transformation, and then the Kais, they're like, yo, this is rude, it's disrespectful, and then Topo comes in like a true white knight, hoping they'll give him some after the tournament is over if he stands up for them, and basically defends them, saying also, that was disrespectful, this and that. And so 17 is like, whatever, he lets them transform, so they go back up top, restart the transformation, except this time actually transform into the Teletubbies. Brianna, the Chateau, turns into Ribrianne. The second one, Sankaku, turns into Kakunsa, and Sue Rose turns into Rozie, so her name actually got simplified there. So once the transformation is over, the God of Destruction of Universe 2 points out that their mortal level might not be enough, but their love level is the highest of all universes. And now all the other universe warriors are looking in awe and they're in love with these chicks now that they've transformed, while Krillin is like, I thought they actually looked better prior to the transformation, to which Whis replies, well, that's all to the universe warriors, or to the beholder's eyes or whatever. So Ribrianne ends up attacking first by sending out a bunch of Ki Blast hearts. That's the best way I can describe them throughout the entire arena, so everybody's dodging them, and apparently there's a smell to them, because Frieza thought it smelled like ass, he said it smelled foul. You see Master Roshi dodging them, and he says his training is paying off because he wasn't affected. He wasn't having any nosebleeds, his power pole didn't extend, his Dragon Balls didn't swell up, he was cool. And I don't see why, if he was going to be affected by their beauty, I think it'd be prior to the transformation, not afterwards. Seemed more like something that affected the other universes. It was more so to their taste, not Universe 7. So anyways, the Z Fighters, Gohan, Piccolo, Master Roshi, and the others decide to separate and fight separately for the moment while they dodge all these hearts. And you see Jiren also just flicking a heart away, and then you see Vegeta confront Ribrianne, and he tells her their power is stupid, and Ribrianne goes ahead and turns into a ball, and she runs towards Vegeta, or rolls towards Vegeta, I should say, and Vegeta looks like he's about to punch her, but then you see his face change and he just dodges. He gets out of the way, and he goes ahead and says that he dodged instinctively because he was disgusted by her appearance. So that's how bad she looked to Universe 7. But she keeps on rolling, and in her way next is Jirasin from Universe 10, and this guy's holding a flower. I'm like, okay, this is really straight out of Sailor Moon now. You've got these chicks here with their transformations looking like Sailor Moon, and now you've got, I guess, Dragon Ball Super's version of Tuxedo Mask, because the guy's holding a flower. But anyways, she runs him over and out of the arena, so that's another Universe 10 member eliminated from the tournament. And he was just about to fight Piccolo, so for those of you who were hoping for some Piccolo action in this episode, you didn't get it. The only guy that was about to fight Piccolo is out. Speaking of Piccolo, by the way, they showed the two remaining members of Universe 6, and they were the Namekians. And one of them looks exactly like Piccolo. Although they didn't show him, in action fighting, but they showed him when the two Zeno-samas were looking at their Pokedex. So after that, we see Rozie now in action, and she's going after Goku, and she's hitting these really quick punches. And the God of Destruction of Universe 2 explains that these punches become sharper, stronger, and more powerful the more she attacks. And then she sends a bunch of ki blasts towards Goku. Goku gets rid of most of them, but one of them ends up connecting. Then they pan over to Kakunsa, who's fighting 17, and she's fighting like a wild cat. She's clawing him, biting him, and they also go over how she's a beast warrior and fights like a wild animal. And she's going for vengeance for interrupting their transformation. They go over how she's got all the stamina and that she won't cease her assault until the prey falls. She keeps clawing on 17, whose expression really doesn't change. He's got just one expression and he never looks worried, which I thought was pretty cool. And so she says, "I've got you." She charges at 17, but 17 with his back turned just puts up the energy field and backs her away. And he says, "You think you had a chance?" Then the energy barrier all of a sudden just spins her around the actual barrier. She gets thrown up in the air and then he kicks her away, but somebody from Universe 2 ends up catching her. It's another flying warrior, a warrior with wings, and she catapults her back in towards Android 17, and she headbutts him on her way towards him. And we learn that the female that saved Kakunsa was named Vikal, and they have a moment and hug. And then 17, he's down on the floor, but once again, his expression doesn't change. He doesn't look worried at all. 18 comes up to him, asking him if he needs a hand, and he says it's fine. He just says that he thought of the animals for a second. The animals back home, by the way. And so he got sloppy, and now it's time to get serious. So then he teleports straight behind Vikal, and he clubs her back, and then KOs her, sending her to the bench, which is actually considered out of bounds. She was knocked out anyways. I'm not 100% sure if she was considered out because she got knocked out on the bench, or because she was knocked out and unable to continue, because they did bring that up. They did say, well, hey, she's KO'd, she's unable to continue. So I'm thinking it's because she was KO'd and not so much because she fell on the bench, because she didn't fall off the stage. But yeah, she's out, and that pisses off Kakunsa, who charges 17, and 17 just knees her in the face and says that the flyers are a nuisance, so that's why he took out Vikal first. And then Ribrianne comes in to help Kakunsa, but Kakunsa insists that 17 is hers and she'll take care of him, so Ribrianne agrees, and then 17 climbs up on top of a light, a ki blast that he created, climbs up on top of that to stay afloat, and they say that's legal because he's just using, a light and he's not actually flying. And then as Kakunsa once again charges towards 17, he just blasts her away out of bounds the opposite way of the arena. So Kakunsa is out, and now the only one left out of the three main chicks of Universe 2 is Ribrianne. And now she looks to be facing off against Android 17 in the next show. It closes out with Ribrianne face to face with 17, and that's it for the show. And also they announced that there's 39 minutes remaining in the Tournament of Power. And that's it for the show. So what did I think about episode 102? I thought it was a cool episode to showcase 17. He was the main star of this episode by far. He sold the show. He looked badass. And I always liked 17, but this made him look even cooler. His expression did not change at all. He did not look worried when he was getting clawed and, Kakunsa was biting him and all that. He just stayed cool and kicked their ass. Now I'm looking forward to seeing how he fares against Ribrianne. I hope he beats her up too. But as far as the other fighters, the preview last week seemed to indicate that I think a lot of us thought we were going to see Vegeta in action versus Ribrianne. We saw maybe a minute of that, and that's it. Now, I'm glad that Vegeta did not get eliminated. I was a bit worried that Vegeta would get eliminated early, so I'm happy he's still in. And it looked like Vegeta could have taken Ribrianne, but of course he chose not to because he was disgusted by her. But 17, though, he wasn't disgusted. 17 didn't care. And it was cool to see the android's unlimited energy really come into play here, really be useful, and actually outshine the other universes. Kakunsa, who the Universe 2's God of Destruction was really hyping up the fact that she's got all this stamina, but even though you got all this stamina, you can't beat the android's unlimited stamina. But going back to last week's preview, for this episode, I also thought we were going to see Piccolo in action. We saw in the preview Piccolo with white eyes. We didn't see that in this episode. We saw Piccolo about to fight, but he didn't fight. So it was really a 17 episode, kind of like the Krillin and 18 episode, but in this case he wasn't caught off guard and eliminated like Krillin. Let's just hope that that doesn't happen next week. And Universe 2 looked pretty weak in this one. Last week I was thinking, these look like some powerful warriors, but 17 made quick work of them when he actually tried. Now, 17 versus Ribrianne, is Ribrianne really much stronger than the other two? I don't know. I guess we'll see next week or maybe the following episode, because, Dragon Ball likes to stall stuff. But, yeah, as far as what I thought about this overall, it was an okay episode. Not one of my favorites. And with them talking about how the real powerful warriors would now stand up and fight, it was kind of disappointing that Universe 2 wasn't all that powerful, but we still have to see how Ribrianne fares when she's actually seriously fighting it out with somebody. Yes, we might see that next week, but also next week seems to be a Gohan-focused episode. So if I were to rate this episode, I'd rate it a 5 Dragon Balls out of 7. It was really a showcase of Android 17, because we haven't seen him in action in a long time. How's his power? How can he fare against, the other universe's warriors? Not much of the other Z fighters. And there was a lot of time wasted with the rituals, especially being done twice. But, that's something that happens oftentimes with Dragon Ball. A lot of time is wasted with transformations and such. I hope Frieza kicks Toppo's ass at some point. Toppo just annoys me for some reason. So I hope either Frieza or Vegeta gets a hold of him and just freaking pummels him and eliminates him. But before eliminating him, make sure you freaking brutalize him. I prefer Frieza to do it though, because with Vegeta and Goku, sometimes they're a bit too concerned with having a, fair or competitive match, while Frieza doesn't really care. He'll just, make fun of beating you up and then eliminate you like we saw in the previous episode. So that's pretty much it for the review. If you guys want to see more reviews, click that like button and let me know what you thought about this episode. Expect some gameplay from me tomorrow or the day after. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm out. See ya.